Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another GFL reaction. Today we have a song from GhostFinal and Kinoko yet again. This is 1-2 Beat as requested by Crumble, and that's basically all I've got other than a few people saying that it's a pretty good song. So I'm just going to jump right into this one and see what all the fuss is about. So let's go! Very clubby start.
Catch up. Watch me step in, lights up. I'm the point, gotta work on luck. Yeah, I'm second to none. Yeah, I'm second to none.
It's giving runway music so far.
I'm queen of the scene. You are hear my call. Eyes on me, take a look away. I flip, second, yeah, I don't even play. Too hard to handle, yeah, you know my name.
I'm really interested to see where this goes, though. Well, they're building up, so I know we're gonna have a drop somewhere. What is it? Ooh, a halftime. Okay. I love not knowing. I didn't know if they were gonna do this or something more like straightforward, clubby, and keep the rhythm going. Loving that melody on it.
In the dirt, but myself bulletproof. Mud on my kiss. Yeah, I spit flames like a nick. Knees into my fist kiss the sky. Oh, rise, 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 rise.
Now I wonder if the next drop is going to be different or what. Still has that like runway pop vibe to it, which based off the theming alone, there's something weirdly nostalgic about it. Like, this drop is more modern, but the verses feel a little bit more retro almost, within the genre, of course. Like more 2006 than anything else. Love a good Phrygian scale. At least I'm pretty sure that's Phrygian. Might not be, but just off of a quick listen, that's what it feels like at very least. So I definitely get why so many people love that song. I see why so many people replay it. It has a very Blackpink energy to it. It has this K-poppy energy to it, and that's kind of what was giving me that vibe, I think, of the like retro meets modern feel I was getting, because a lot of K-pop still does root itself in those older tones because it's kind of just genre specific at this point. Like every song at least pays homage to something from a decade or 2 decades ago, and that's just kind of what happens. You sample things from prior generations, and that's how music forms and continues to evolve over time. So I think that works really well here, and why it has that feel for me that feels nostalgic but also fairly modern. I say Blackpink specifically just because they are definitely users of that vibe and use some of the same samples that they were using here, so I'm sure that GhostFinal is probably using a bunch of reference to get that K-pop sound down, and just, you know, paying attention to these little intricacies of that sound and making sure it sounds as authentic as it can. I could totally hear this being performed by any group currently active, you know, like most groups could pull off a song like this easy, and that's why you write a song that fits with that group, anyone could basically perform it. That's kind of what makes K-pop interesting too, because like you have so much individuality with the groups, but there's also a synergy in all of the sound. You play to the strengths of individuals in the group so they can do better solo work, but overall, the genre of K-pop is still very samey, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's the same in any country, but a lot of the sample stuff that GhostFinal was doing here was definitely very more K-pop-y, like that kind of big brass sort of sample that like that's in there, that it's just a thing. I don't know how else to like vocalize that. I'm sure it sounded stupid, but you know which one I'm talking about. They do that a lot, as well as they love halftiming stuff in K-pop. It's one of their go-to deals where you need to make something sound really impactful and have a good rhythm to it. You want people to just get hype, do a halftime. It's pretty much a guarantee in any genre, and I don't know why more people don't do it. It works for metal, it works for pop. You can put it anywhere, really. Halftime has such an impact for any listener. There's something that's just so viscerally hypeable about a halftime, and everyone loves it. So it's a good crowd pleaser, which works for a K-pop song when you've got theoretically thousands of people in front of you, and it's like, hell yeah, let's do this. It's an awesome feeling. So having a song with that as its main hook is a great idea. It just makes you immediately go, ooh, just like I did. You feel it, you want to be in it, you start to vibe with it, and you have a great song as a result. Something very memorable that just works. You can do basically any song with just that as a concept. You know, start with a normal beat, keep it on an average 4/4, and then halftime it for some point of the song, whether that's the chorus like this one, or you just have one spot in there where it's half-timed. Bonus points if there's somebody rapping. These things are just very characteristic of the genre, and damn, they do their job very well, and GhostFinal did a great job here. Kinoko also did an amazing job doing the vocals for this one, just nailing it, having that vibe in there, that confidence in the vocals helps a lot. A little bit of sassiness, you know, just getting the personality of a K-pop star down is part of that performance. You can't just come in here with a meek little voice and just, oh yeah, I'm trying, oh, I'm a little scared. And sure, there are definitely people with that personality trait in K-pop. Once those like shy personalities start to perform, all of that melts away. They might still like bring it back in between the song or something for a little bit of crowd work, but when they're performing, they are still performers. They know exactly when to turn on and off those personality traits and really shine vocally when they need to. And that's very much what Kinoko is nailing here, the sassiness of mostly just a solo act. Basically no solo acts in the K-pop scene are people who are meek and shy. It's more often than not somebody who exudes all of that confidence. Somebody more like CL, you know? Somebody who's just like the center and you know it. And a lot of the time, solo acts are people who used to be centers or people who just didn't make it in a group but still had that good energy they wanted to put funding behind and created their own solo career. And that's part of it. And it also helped that Kinoko had two other vocalists assisting her on this, so you get that more full variety in the vocals as well. Because while, yes, solo acts are definitely a thing, as I just talked about, really what gets the body behind the K-pop sound is having variety in the voices. You don't want just one person on there if you're kind of going for a group act sound. You need that variety in order to make things varied and really have some room to play around in the mix. Even though I'm pretty sure that it was just backing vocals for these other two singers in here, it's still nice to have that because it allows for different textures in the voice as well. A solo act can definitely do all that themselves, but you do kind of lose some of that K-poppiness a little bit. It starts to feel more just like a solo act. There's definitely a distinct difference in the sound between a solo K-pop artist and a group K-pop artist. It made things sound broader, more open. It made the entire song feel a little bit more welcoming, like there's more involved than just one person. So you kind of get this nice feel of this pop song, and it just works really well. They nailed it. I mean, what else can I say? GhostFinal did a great job. Shocker. Kinoko did a great job. Shocker. The backing vocalist, fantastic work on their side. Shocker. To be honest, I don't know if I could set this up there with something like KDA from League of Legends, because that was like a whole separate level of going for the K-pop aesthetic and just really committing to it. For this, just a one-off song, it does really well, and it could totally work as like a debut for somebody in a solo act, and that's kind of what it felt like. So I think they really nailed it as far as that aspect goes. Despite what I said about it feeling more like a group act, it definitely was presented more like a solo act, and it feels more like that at the end of the day. And I think that's purely just because you only see the one person on screen, and there isn't any other like variety in who's taking the lead, which is another thing that K-pop does a lot, and basically any group does a lot. If you have multiple singers, you want each of them to have their own time in the spotlight. You don't want to make just one person the lead all the time. You want to vary it up and make sure that every fan of every person in the group gets their little moment to be like, yeah, that's my favorite, that's my bias, you know, like that's the vibe you're going for. For this, you really didn't get that, and it didn't necessarily feel like that. It was just well produced, and that's kind of why it feels more broad, I think. But I have yapped plenty about this song, so I'm going to call it here. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you have any other songs that you want me to get to from GFL, by all means, leave them in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. But otherwise, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!